Okay, so since I've been researching real self for the past like 3 years, almost four, um, I ran across several doctors and pretty much had to make sure that they were okay with my HIV. Now, this is before I got type 2 diabetes. Afterwards, I had to make sure they were okay with both. There are a lot of doctors who are okay with both. They just really want medical clearance around the time that you get surgery done to make sure that you're healthy and everything. Let's see. So my first doctor ever was Dr. Mead. I really liked him. Another doctor was Dr. Jajarkar. Those were the first two doctors that I really liked, and it was only for the fact that they could do it and that they were okay with my health conditions. So initially, that's how I went about choosing, based off of, can you handle my health conditions? Well, Dr. Mead couldn't. He couldn't handle the diabetes, so I couldn't go with him. I don't really remember much about Dr. Jajarkar. Next was Dr. Obaid. He was fine with my health conditions, but I didn't feel like his results were there. The results that I wanted, I didn't see. I saw it in one patient, that was it. So yeah, and I didn't really like that it was that scarce, to find that in his patients. And his website is updated, but his pictures aren't. So he doesn't have very many pictures, which I kind of don't like. Next, I looked up some Dominican Republic surgeons and doctors. They don't really get back to you as well, I guess, quickly. So that was an issue. Also, sometimes they don't work with you with the health conditions. So that happened with Dr. Yilly. So yeah. So then I moved on to Dr. Johnson, the black guy. There's two different ones. The one in Georgia. There we go. So anyway, I found out he was booked up until October of 2016. So I'm not waiting 2 years for the surgery. I also looked into Dr. Jeffrey Carruth. He is here in Dallas. He isn't board certified. You just kind of have to look into him like I did. I like that he had awake breast augmentation, which is pretty much you're under local anesthetic. You can also be part of the procedure when it was necessary, as in you can kind of have dictate your size at that time. I like that he had aqua lipo, which meant that he would be able to harvest fat better and that it would have a better chance of surviving. But I ended up wanting a tummy tuck done, so he didn't do tummy tucks, so I had to scratch him off the list. Next was Dr. Salzhauer. I finally, I did live chat, and the one was like, he doesn't work with patients who have type 2 diabetes. I was like, well, if I'm not going to have it by the time of surgery, what's the problem? She ended the chat. I was really mad about that. I emailed him and I texted him. He did text me back and said he was going to check his email, and I never heard anything back as to whether or not he found or checked my email or not. While I was looking for more reviews about Dr. Salzhauer, I ran across one review about Dr. Kenneth Hughes. And I was like, Hughes? I was like, I'm not even going to the guy, whatever. So I was like moving along, and then he was one of the first people to answer one of my questions. You can go on there and do questions, post pictures of yourself, if you want a nose job, post pictures of your nose and which picture of what you want your nose to look like, just things like that, just as good detail as possible to help every doctor be able to give you the best possible advice for what you're asking about. So like, is this the same Dr. Hughes? So I looked into him. I was like, oh my gosh, I love him. He really gets every ounce of fat out of you. He will definitely. You need to go on his website and kind of look into that. So I definitely really liked him, and I really hoped that he was going to consider me as a patient. And I will let you guys know in the next video as to whether or not he did.